There's a level of mental strength that doesn't just impress people, it unsettles them. It's the kind of presence that makes a room go quiet when you enter, the kind of focus that makes others question if you're even human. This is the mind of a shogun. For centuries, the shogun were the ultimate power in Japan, not just because of their armies, but because of their unbreakable minds. Today, you're going to discover exactly how to train your mind like a shogun, and how, in just 100 days, you can begin the journey to absolute mental dominance. But before we begin, ask yourself, are you ready to become someone others can't ignore? Are you prepared to leave behind the comfort of excuses, the safety of average, and step into a world where your mind is your greatest weapon? If you're still here, you already know the answer. Chapter 1. The Shogun's Secret. Most people think mental strength is about motivation, about waking up every day with fire in your chest. But the shogun knew something deeper. They understood that motivation is a flicker, but discipline is a flame that never goes out. The shogun didn't rely on fleeting feelings. They built systems, rituals so powerful that even in the face of chaos, their minds remained unmoved. Imagine a young samurai standing in the cold dawn, sword in hand, eyes fixed on the horizon. He's not thinking about whether he feels like training. He's not negotiating with himself about 5 more minutes of sleep. He moves because the ritual demands it. The shogun's mind was forged in the fires of repetition, not inspiration. But how do you build a mind like that? How do you go from being someone who's easily distracted, who gives up when things get hard, to someone who can't be broken? The answer is in the system you build, not the strength you think you have. Chapter 2. The 100-Day Challenge. The shogun believed in the power of cycles, periods of intense, focused training that transformed not just their skills, but their very identity. For you, this is the 100-Day Challenge. 100 days of relentless, non-negotiable practice, not just for your body, but for your mind. But here's the truth. Most people will never make it past day 7. They'll start with excitement, but when the novelty fades, so does their commitment. The shogun knew this. That's why they didn't leave their training to chance. They created rituals so precise, so unbreakable, that the mind had no choice but to follow. Your first task is simple. Choose one mental discipline to practice every single day for 100 days. It could be meditation, journaling, reading philosophy, or even cold exposure. But it must be the same every day at the same time, without exception. This is your first step toward mental dominance. Chapter 3. The Power of Irreversible Commitment. Why do most people fail? Because their commitments are reversible. They make promises in private, break them in private, and no one ever knows. The shogun understood that the mind is a master negotiator. It will find any excuse, any loophole to escape discomfort. So they made their commitments public. When a shogun declared his intention, it was witnessed by his clan, his family, his rivals. Failure wasn't just personal, it was a loss of honor. And in that world, honor was everything. If you want to train your mind like a shogun, you must make your commitment irreversible. Write it down. Tell your friends, post it online. Declare, for the next 100 days, I will practice my discipline every morning at 6 a.m. without fail. The fear of public failure will become your ally. Every time you want to quit, remember, the world is watching. Chapter 4. The Ritual of Dawn. The shogun began their day before the sun, not because it was easy, but because it was hard. The world is quiet at dawn. There are no distractions, no messages, no demands. This is the hour of power, the time when you claim your mind before the world tries to take it from you. For the next 100 days, your ritual begins at dawn. Set your alarm. Prepare your space. When the alarm rings, there is no negotiation. You rise, you begin. The first week will be war. Your body will resist, your mind will rebel. But this is the test. Every day you win, you weaken the voice of comfort and strengthen the voice of command. Chapter 5. The Elimination of Choice. The Shogun didn't waste energy on decisions. Their rituals were fixed, their routines unchanging. Every morning the same sequence, every evening the same reflection. Why? Because every choice is a crack in your armor. Every negotiation is a chance for weakness to slip in. You must eliminate choice. Decide now. What will you do? When will you do it? How will you do it? Write it down. For 100 days, there is no debate. The ritual is law. The mind learns to obey, not to argue. Chapter 6. The First Wall. By day 10, the excitement will fade. The mind will begin its attack. Why am I doing this? What's the point? One day off won't matter. This is the first wall. Most people turn back here, but the Shogun pressed forward, not because they felt strong, but because they refused to negotiate with weakness. When you hit the wall, remember, the wall is the way. Every time you push through, you teach your mind that your word is law. Every time you give in, you teach your mind that comfort is king. The choice is yours. Chapter 7. The Power of Repetition. Repetition is the mother of mastery. The Shogun didn't become legends by doing extraordinary things once. They became legends by doing ordinary things thousands of times, until the ordinary became extraordinary. Your mind is a muscle. Every day you repeat your ritual, you strengthen the neural pathways of discipline, focus, and resilience. By day 20, you'll notice something strange. The ritual becomes easier. The resistance fades. The mind begins to anticipate, to prepare, to obey. This is the beginning of transformation. Chapter 8. The Shogun's Mind, Unmoved by Storms. But the journey is not a straight line. The Shogun's mind was not forged in comfort, but in chaos. Storms will come, late nights, unexpected crises, days when your energy is gone and your motivation is nowhere to be found. This is when most people break. But the Shogun had a principle. Fudoshin, the immovable mind. It means that no matter what happens outside, your inner world remains steady. When you wake up exhausted, when your plans are shattered, when the world throws you off balance, remember, the ritual is not about perfection, it's about continuity. Even if you can only give 10% on your worst day, you give it. The Shogun did not stop training because of rain or hunger or fear. They adapted, but they never stopped. This is the difference between those who try and those who become. Chapter 9. The Art of Pre-Solving Obstacles. The Shogun were not surprised by adversity. They expected it. They prepared for it. Before every campaign, they would sit with their generals and imagine every possible disaster: ambushes, betrayals, storms, famine. For every scenario, they created a response. When the crisis came, there was no panic, only execution. You must do the same. Take a pen and write down every obstacle that has ever broken your consistency. Travel, illness, family emergencies, bad moods, lack of time. For each, write a pre-solved response. If I travel, I meditate in the hotel room. If I'm sick, I do a shorter session. If I'm busy, I wake up earlier. The mind is calm when the answers are already written. This is how you become unbreakable. Chapter 10. The Death of Negotiation. The Shogun's greatest enemy was not the rival clan, but the voice inside that whispered, "Maybe tomorrow." Negotiation is the birthplace of weakness. Every time you debate with yourself, you lose a little power. The Shogun killed negotiation with ritual. There was no if, only when. There was no should I, only I will. For the next 100 days, refuse to negotiate with your mind. When the alarm rings, you rise. When the ritual calls, you answer. The more you obey your own command, the quieter the voice of resistance becomes. This is not about being harsh, it's about being free. Free from the endless cycle of excuses and regret. Chapter 11. The Mirror of Identity. The Shogun did not see themselves as people who trained. They saw themselves as warriors. Their identity was forged in the fires of commitment. When you declare, "I am someone who never misses a day," your mind begins to align with that truth. Every action is a vote for the person you want to become. But identity is fragile in the beginning. The old self will fight to survive. It will tempt you with comfort, with old habits, with the promise of just this once. But every time you keep your word, you drive a wedge between who you were and who you are becoming. The Shogun's mind was not built in a day, but in 1,000 small victories over the self. Chapter 12. The Power of Public Declaration. In the world of the Shogun, honor was public. A broken promise was not just a personal failure, it was a stain on the clan. This is why public declaration is so powerful. When you tell the world your intention, you raise the stakes. The fear of public failure becomes a shield against private weakness. Post your 100-day challenge online. Tell your friends, your family, your colleagues. Let them witness your journey. Every like, every comment, every question becomes fuel for your fire. When you want to quit, remember, you are not just fighting for yourself, you are fighting for your word. Chapter 13. The Ritual of Reflection. The Shogun ended each day with reflection. In the quiet of the evening, they would review their actions, their thoughts, their victories and failures. This was not self-criticism, but self-mastery. They asked, "Where did I keep my word? Where did I falter? What can I improve tomorrow?" You must do the same. Every night, take 5 minutes to reflect. Did you honor your ritual? Did you face your obstacles with courage? Did you negotiate or did you command? Write it down. Over 100 days, these reflections become a map of your transformation. Chapter 14. The Second Wall. By day 30, a new enemy appears. Boredom. The mind craves novelty. It will whisper, "This is pointless. You're not making progress. Try something new." This is the second wall. Most people quit here not because it's hard, but because it's dull. But the Shogun knew that mastery is found on the other side of boredom. When the ritual becomes routine, when the excitement is gone, that is when the real training begins. Every day you show up, even when you don't want to, you are teaching your mind that your word is stronger than your feelings. Chapter 15. The Science of Automatization. Modern neuroscience confirms what the Shogun knew centuries ago. When you repeat an action in the same context for weeks, your brain rewires itself. The basal ganglia take over. The action becomes automatic. You no longer have to force yourself. It simply happens. By day 40, you will notice that your ritual requires less effort. The resistance fades. The mind begins to anticipate, to prepare, to obey. This is the beginning of true mental dominance. You are no longer someone who tries. You are someone who does. Chapter 16. The Test of Adversity. But the world will test you. There will be days when everything goes wrong. You will get sick. You will travel. You will face loss, disappointment, chaos. This is when most people break their streak. They tell themselves, "I'll start again tomorrow." But the Shogun knew that the practice must continue, even if only in a small way. If you can't do the full ritual, do a fraction. If you can't meditate for 20 minutes, do 2. If you can't read a chapter, read a page. The river never stops flowing. Even a trickle is enough to keep the current alive. The moment you stop, you are no longer practicing. You are someone who used to practice. Chapter 17. The Shogun's Code: no gaps, no excuses. The Shogun's Code was simple: no gaps, no excuses. In their world, a single day missed was a crack in the armor, an invitation for weakness to return. They understood that the mind, once given permission to break the chain, would always look for the next opportunity to do so. This is why your 100-day journey must be unbroken, not perfect, but unbroken. Even on your worst day, you show up. Even when you have nothing left, you give what you can. The chain must never break. This is not about being harsh with yourself. It's about building a mind that refuses to surrender. The Shogun did not become legends by being perfect. They became legends by being relentless. Every day you keep the chain alive, you are forging a mind that cannot be defeated by circumstance. Chapter 18: The Power of Zanshin, Permanent Awareness. Zanshin is the art of permanent awareness. The Shogun were never off guard, never complacent. Even after victory, they remained vigilant. In your journey, Zanshin means never letting your guard down, even after a win. When you finish your ritual, don't immediately collapse into distraction. Take a moment to breathe, to be present, to integrate what you've done. This habit of awareness after action is what separates those who grow from those who stagnate. When you maintain Zanshin, you carry the lessons of your practice into every part of your life. You become someone who is always ready, always present, always in command. Chapter 19: The Third Wall, the Unexpected Blow. By day 60, you will face the third wall, the unexpected blow. Life will throw something at you that you never saw coming. Maybe it's a crisis at work, a family emergency, a sudden illness, or a wave of doubt that seems to come from nowhere. This is the moment that defines your journey. The Shogun trained for the unexpected. They knew that the true test of the mind is not how you perform when everything is going well, but how you respond when everything falls apart. When the blow comes, do not panic, do not negotiate. Return to your ritual, even if it's just a shadow of what it was. The act of showing up, no matter how small, is the victory. Chapter 20: The Transformation, from Practice to Identity. By day 70, something profound begins to happen. The ritual is no longer something you do, it is something you are. The line between practice and identity disappears. You are no longer forcing yourself to train your mind. You have become the kind of person whose mind is always in training. This is the secret the Shogun understood. True dominance is not about effort, it's about identity. When you become the practice, when the ritual is woven into your very being, you are unbreakable. People will notice, they will ask, "How do you do it?" The answer is simple: you don't do it, you are it. Chapter 21: The Mirror Effect, Making Others Uncomfortable. As your mind grows stronger, you will notice a strange effect. People around you may become uncomfortable. They may call you obsessive, too intense, or even robotic. This is not a sign that you are doing something wrong. It is a sign that you are doing something right. The Shogun's presence was unsettling because it revealed what others were not willing to do. Your discipline will become a mirror, reflecting back the excuses and weaknesses of those around you. Some will be inspired, others will be threatened. But remember, you are not doing this for their approval. You are doing this to become who you were meant to be. Chapter 22: The Final Test, Letting Go of the Outcome. By day 90, you will face the final test, letting go of the outcome. The Shogun trained not for praise, not for recognition, but for mastery itself. They understood that attachment to results is a weakness. If your identity depends on streaks, on numbers, on external validation, you are still vulnerable. Let go of the need to count days. Let go of the need for applause. The practice continues, not because you have to, but because it is who you are. This is the highest level of mental dominance, when you no longer need to prove anything, even to yourself. Chapter 23. The Shogun's Legacy, Mastery over Self. On the 100th day, you will look back and realize that the journey was never about the ritual itself. It was about who you became along the way. The Shogun's true power was not in their sword, but in their mind. They mastered themselves, and in doing so, mastered the world around them. You will notice that your reactions have changed. Stress no longer breaks you. Discomfort no longer scares you. Distraction no longer rules you. You have become the kind of person who can be trusted, with responsibility, with challenge, with power. This is the legacy of the Shogun, mastery over self. Chapter 24. The Invitation, Your Public Declaration. Now, the question is not whether you can do this. The question is, will you? Will you step into the arena, declare your intention, and begin your 100-day journey? Will you become the kind of person whose mind is a fortress, whose word is law, whose presence is undeniable? If you are ready, make your public declaration, write it down, share it with the world. For the next 100 days, you will train your mind like a shogun. You will build rituals, eliminate negotiation, pre-solve obstacles, and refuse to break the chain. You will become someone others cannot ignore. Chapter 25. The Beginning, Not the End. Remember, the 100th day is not the end. It is the beginning. The Shogun did not stop training when they reached a milestone. They understood that mastery is a path, not a destination. Every day is a new opportunity to strengthen your mind, to deepen your practice, to live by the code you have chosen. You are not just building habits. You are building a new identity. You are not just training your mind. You are becoming the Shogun of your own life. Final words. If this journey has changed your perspective, if you are ready to step into a new level of discipline and mental strength, subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, and share your declaration in the comments. Remember, the world does not need more people who try. It needs more people who become. The consistency that unsettles others is the only consistency worth having. The mind that cannot be broken is the mind that changes everything. Train your mind like a shogun and discover what you are truly capable of. Thank you for your attention. Your journey begins now.